What's up, everybody? Welcome to the No Scrubs Allowed pod. Seal, how you doing, buddy?
Doing good, man. How are you? Oh,
Doing
you're
good,
happy
man.
as shit.
I'm
Yeah.
about to have the Dodgers followed by the Bucks, followed by the Suns, back to back to back championships with LAFC thrown in there as well. And the only team that doesn't stand a chance is the Red Wings. But it's been so many years since I've had any sort of championship. If you count the Red Wings, it was 14 years. But since we don't really count the Red Wings too much, it's been what was that 18 years since the Bucks. So, and now I'm about to rattle off three in a row. So yeah, I am feeling good. But we'll talk about basketball in a minute. First, I wanted to give a little shout out, but it's also sports related. It's not really a shout out, and that's because I know you don't really watch too much. But Dustin Johnson went out and just ran away with the
Oh,
Masters.
yeah.
So shout out to him. But shout out to a couple people on that. Dustin Johnson, of course, for winning, for going minus 20, which was a Augusta record, but he had the lowest amount of bogeys of any major ever. He had four bogeys in the whole weekend, so four bogeys in 4 days. That's ridiculous. But even with that, he shot a 70 one of the times. So the guy who finished second, Cameron Smith, I think Cameron's his first name, he shot all four rounds in the 60s, which is a new record. Nobody had ever done that before, shooting all
Sheesh.
four rounds in the 60s. So that's two records, good records that got beaten. There was also, a third record that got beaten. I don't know the guy's name. Sorry, dude. And I'm not going to look you up because I won't even recognize the name. But the oldest person ever to make the cut made it this year. So congrats to Langerstrom or something like that was his name. But he's like 61 years old and he made the cut, which is amazing. So oldest guy
Wow.
there. And then the bad record, Tiger Woods, who was looking pretty good all throughout. He shot a 10 on a par three, the first time ever that a non-amateur has shot a double-digit score on a major championship round. So that's a bad record for Tiger, but he has so many good records. Like, he probably
Was
doesn't
that
care.
Saturday?
That was Sunday.
Sunday?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's what's worse
Right.
is if you par that hole, he would have shot -7. But because that one was a +7, he ended up even on the day, which he's got to be super frustrated. But he hit it like into the bunker, or he hit it, I think, into the water, then into the bunker, then from the bunker into the water. So he had to
Oh,
drop again. It was just a par three. He just could not get it. So that sucks. But he still shot well. He played well. I think he was -1 on the entire day, some -2, something around the entire week. So that's not bad. But shout out to Dustin Johnson is the moral of that story. This is his first green jacket. He was ecstatic. He was crying. His brother is his caddy. I don't know if you guys know that, but he has a big family, and of course they weren't able to be there. Only his wife was able to be there. But apparently everybody rented a house in Augusta, and so his parents, his grandparents, all of his, he has, I think, like two brothers and a sister, and then all his nieces and nephews and sons and daughters and stuff are all there apparently at that house. So I'm sure he partied hard. I'm sure he's still partying hard, and good for him. Shout out to him. Georgia will allow people around, right?
they
California be
should. Yeah.
shutting off his electricity, trying to make sure he can't party.
Yeah, for sure. And real quick, wanted to ask I was wondering how they were going to do the green jacket. And it was nice how they did it. And I don't think they were wearing masks or anything, but it was very confined.
Well, I mean,
And
Tiger was there, so
yeah,
he didn't need
obviously,
his
yeah.
jacket or his mask.
Yeah, but we found out this week that the Heisman Trophy is going to be presented virtually this year.
Right.
That's just asinine to me. I feel like that's just the one thing, literally the one thing that NCAA has had to do, besides furlough everybody and not make schedules, or they haven't had to do shit this year,
Right.
is the Heisman presentation and all that stuff, and they ended up fucking that up. I get New York is where it's usually at, and
And they
not
definitely
happening
can't
right
do
now.
that. Yeah.
But there's 49 other states. I mean, yeah, there's like 13 states that they'd actually be able to do it in. They could go to the College Football Hall of Fame and
Right. That's
Atlanta
what I was thinking, because
and
that's in
do it
Atlanta, which would
and
be
do it
really fun.
there. Yeah, and there's at the end of the day, there's 3. They might have 4 this year. It'll still be. I don't know how they would Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields.
Well, they'd still just invite 3.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess they're not going to invite anybody at this point.
Yeah.
But...
So, I mean, it's upsetting and disheartening that they put zero effort into trying to get it going at all. I mean, they might have.
Well, the WNBA did the same thing. They gave out their MVP and all that over Skype or Zoom or whatever. So, you know, it happens. But yeah, it's weird that they couldn't figure it out. They can figure out how to get these people all on a field together. And they have rapid testing. We saw with the Terrence Crawford fight on Saturday night. They were allowed to have their immediate family at least, but they had to get that rapid testing with the 15-minute results and before you could go in. And I mean, that's easy. That's easy. You have a little quarantine where only one family can come in at a time. You schedule them for what time. Like if kickoff's at 5:08, hey, or the show starts at 7 p.m., hey, you guys have to be in line by 5:30. Make it early. Who cares? And then they come in one group at a time, get tested, go to your quarantine room, wait, figure it out. But they didn't even try. So that kind of sucks.
Yeah, and I mean, it comes down to money, and they're losing a shit ton of money. So, I mean, that probably is what it boils down to. The lack of effort stems from the lack of money.
Right.
It sucks.
Yeah, and then another shout out that I had, I watched the boxing match on Saturday. Terrence Crawford, of course, shout out to him because he won. But the shout out that I really wanted to go, I got to find how to get to the undercard here. But the undercard fight was ridiculous. This guy got shafted out of it. Here we go. I don't want this stream. I want just who it was. This thing's already happened.
You were really pissed off about this, dude.
I was very, very mad. So Joshua Franco and Andrew Maloney fought for the WBA super flyweight title. And Maloney had it first. They fought like 3 months ago, and Franco beat the mess out of him. Took his belt. That was the only loss Maloney had ever had. So this was the rematch belt. He came out from the first round and was just beating up on Franco. It was nasty. Franco swole his eyes shut in the first round. They checked it after the first round. He was able to kind of get it open and look around, so the doctor let him keep going. At the end of the second round, they checked it again. He couldn't open it. Fight over. Well, the ref said that it was an inadvertent headbutt that caused the eye to swell. And so if you have an inadvertent headbutt, 4 rounds has to go from when the headbutt was. So it's kind of like he had a chance to still fight. But since only 2 rounds went, it was a no decision, blah, blah. Well, Nevada has the instant replay. They're the only state with instant replay. So everybody was happy that it was in Las Vegas. So 6 minutes. This was a 2-round fight, 6 minutes. They were under replay. They had a little timer because they were getting tired, getting bored of this thing. It took 28 minutes and 34 seconds to come up with the conclusion. And They said that there was a headbutt. The announcers were going crazy. It's actually Joe Tessitore, which is kind of funny, but then Andre Ward and another guy. But they watched the entire fight because the entire fight was only 6 minutes. They watched the entire fight like 3 times through and never saw a single headbutt. I never saw a headbutt. They slowed down any time that the heads even got together and did it in slow motion. There was no headbutt. They found the punch that hit the guy square on his eye. They saw that. They then found a second punch afterwards that grazed the same eye while it was swelling up. And yet still they said it's a headbutt. And it's just like, what? We sat here for 28 minutes to get nothing, to get it wrong. If you're not going to have a review, don't have a review. I am totally fine with that. That's what the refs are for. If they make a bad call, it's just like the refs in any other sport. If they make a bad call, that sucks. But if you have the review, get it right. They took 28 minutes and got it wrong. And you'll have to go find the replay because you can replay the entire match, like I said, in 6 minutes. And it was just him beating the mess out of that dude. So I was very upset for him. Who knows if he's going to get his chance again, because that's 2 fights now that he's had without a win. And they might not want to sign a contract for a 3rd fight. So I wanted to shout out Maloney on that because he was fighting great. And big loser scrub, you're a scrub to Las Vegas. They really messed that one up. But then Terrence Crawford looked like a beast and made the main event all worth it in the end anyway. But yeah, I was very upset about it.
And you get that, I didn't even think about that from the standpoint of business. that would really suck if he isn't able to get another foot into the ring
Yeah.
and have a shot at it. That would really suck.
So, and now they're probably scared of him because they knew they were getting their butts kicked too. So, and it's not that the winning team's fault. They didn't do anything wrong, or the no decision team's fault. He was just fighting. He even said he wanted to keep going on, but they obviously wouldn't let him because he couldn't open his eye. It's a little different from MMA in that sense. There was no blood, no anything, but if you can't open your eye, you're pretty lethal to get the crap knocked out of you, which they don't like, even though that's what the sport is. But Terrence Crawford shut the critics up. I don't know why he still has critics. He's undefeated. Critics always say he doesn't fight anybody good. So he was fighting this guy that came down from like lightweight, and he knocked dude unconscious on his feet. And it was funny, because there's no fans, they're always like zoomed in, getting all the actions, the live words that are coming out of people's mouth. We're used to this now. It's been since sports came back. Everything's really up close and personal. And so they had the guy on the little stool after he got the crap knocked out of him. And he looked at his guy and he said, "Dude, what just happened? Am I still in the fight?" That's what he said. And the guy was like, no, you got knocked out. And he was like, what happened? Like, he was asked, and I was like, dang,
Holy
he got
shit.
wrecked. But that was a good fight. So it was worth it in the end. Worth the free. But it was legally free. It was just on ESPN.
Yeah.
But yeah,
No.
they fight in that MGM Grand where we tried to sneak into.
I would have definitely been able to get in if you guys wouldn't have been trying to scurry on off.
I wasn't trying to scurry off. You tried every door.
There had to be more. There has to be.
They locked stuff.
Where do the fighters come in at?
The unlocked door? What do you mean? Like, where do the fighters come in at? We went down. That was probably the locker room access down below the
down
stairs.
there. I don't know. I'm still pissed off about that.
We weren't going to get in. We could probably found a security guard. They might have opened it and let us look, honestly. More so than us just...
3 years. Within 5 years, I want to go back and see a boxing match or some shit. Yeah. I mean, there was no shows. There was no roller coaster even. I wasn't going to ride that shit anyways. It probably was going. I didn't hear it the couple of times that we walked over to New York. But, yeah.
I just want to watch some shows, man.
Yeah, I want to see that cost shit, and I want to see a boxing match.
Well, boxing matches are expensive as shit, so I hope you save up some money before 3 years.
They are?
Yeah, dude. Well, they're crazy expensive.
Shit, we'll just sit there and watch it in the sports book and get pissed off at a $5 bet.
And then try to catch them coming out and be like, "You suck." Big dude
yeah. Lost. Oh, we're just gonna be. It was him. He did it. This guy.
Yeah, no, I'm down for that, but they're kind of expensive. We can find a cheap, crappy fight, hopefully.
But pointed the wrong way. I think you're this way. I don't know.
I don't know which way I am on the replay, but yeah. So shout out to those guys. That was awesome. I love boxing still. I know it's been watered down. It's not the same as it once was when Ali and Frazier and all those guys were going, but it's still good when you find those pound for pound best fighters, which Terrence Crawford is consensus number one. A lot of people argue that Canelo is, but whatever. In the rankings, it's Terrence Crawford. So when you get those guys, it's still a good fight, and I enjoy watching it. But I did see that Paul Felder got his butt kicked again in MMA. He needs to stick to announcing. But,
yeah, he did get his ass beat.
But yeah, so let's shift to the sports that most people actually kind of watch now. And basketball, the reason I'm wearing basketball here is because trade week or whatever has opened up. The draft is Wednesday. Trade opened up on Monday, and we already had two, at least agreed to, pretty big trades. So we can talk about those. And, of course, the Suns were involved. So that's the big one. The Suns acquired Chris Paul. And who was that other guy? Who's the scrub guy that we got with him?
Oh, shit.
Who cares? Abdul Nader, I think it was. I'll have to learn his name because he'll be on our bench trying to hype man. I think it was Abdul Nader. And we gave up Kelly Oubre, Ty Jerome, Jalen Lecque, and 2022 first round pick. So let's get your reactions first from the outside. You're not a fan because you know where I'm going to go with this. Obviously, I'm pro Suns. So what do you think of this trade?
I don't know if it's. I mean, Ricky Rubio, yeah, that's fine. That's a hell of an
Oh
upgrade.
yeah, and Ricky Rubio.
I just don't know Kelly Oubre and first round pick is worth Chris Paul. I mean, he showed last year just him being there and in the locker room and his leadership and mentality that he brings to the team is bar none what he did with OKC. And that's definitely going to help out Monty. He's going to be Monty's little sidekick. And I feel like they'll definitely at least make the playoffs
Did
as a
Monty
seventh
coach
seed.
him in New Orleans?
Ooh, he might have, actually. I'm not
That's
sure.
going to be tough to see, huh?
Yeah.
I'll try. You keep talking.
Yeah, but I just don't know if that's really if that's what you needed, because Ricky Rubio did a hell of a job in the bubble. He definitely helped out a lot in getting them to 8-0. Kelly Oubre was coming out to be one of the leaders on the team, definitely the number 2 option, sometimes the number 1 option. Book was glad to get some help and get some pressure off of him when needed to, and it was Oubre. I don't know if you're going to get that type of scoring out of Chris Paul, and they are going to need to find another big man, and now I feel like they need to find a scorer as well.
You don't think Chris Paul can score?
Yeah, he can score, but he's not the Kelly Oubre that's consistently going to be able to drop 25 points if you need him to.
So he coached him for 1 year. 2010, 2011, he coached him.
Dude, your Google skills are bar none.
But then Chris Paul left in 2011, so that was it. But yeah, so he coached him for a little bit.
There's trades happening right now going on.
But yeah, no, I mean, Chris Paul can definitely score. We have Booker, we have Ayton. We're still fine. Right now, I don't think we're ready because our potential starting lineup includes both Cam Johnson and Mikal Bridges. That would be rough. But to have Chris Paul, Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, I think we just take the bird rights on Saric, pay for it. We're already over the cap anyway. Who cares? Go ahead and take his bird rights in, and then draft somebody with the 10 pick. And then I think we can still get the veteran minimums. I mean, Chris Paul has friends out there. Chris Paul can get somebody in there. And if it's Bridges and then Saric and then the other 3 guys, I think that's a solid thing. We of course went 8-0 in the bubble without Oubre. That is to be said, but 82 games or 72 games or 70, whatever the hell they're playing this year, is a lot different from 8, obviously. But Chris Paul brings that leadership that nobody really has other than, of course, Monty Williams. But when Steve Nash left, this team, and that was a long time ago now, this team has not had any sort of leadership on the floor from that point on. So Chris Paul will bring that. Chris Paul brings defense that Ricky Rubio did not have at all, which is exciting. And then the way we structured it works out, I think, in our favor as opposed to not our favor. I'm not talking about Oklahoma City, but 2022, the pick that they're going to get is right after the last year that Chris Paul will be on our team if we don't trade him. So we're expecting to make the playoffs that year, obviously. Then we would lose his $44 million contract. We shouldn't need a pick at that point because we could hopefully, if we're coming off a championship or 2 championships or whatever, maybe we can sign somebody that wants to play. Realistically, I don't think we're just going to go win 2 championships in a row, but that's the structure of why we set it up that way. And hopefully, or we'll have money to give to Booker to make him worth like $65 million or whatever he asked for to not leave. But I like it. I like it for OKC too, though. To be fair, that's a great trade for them. They continue to rack up picks, and they continue to rack up picks even more with Schroeder to the Lakers. And I don't even know. I saw a picture of all the picks that they have coming up.
They have 16 first-round picks between now and 2026.
Well, too bad this draft is shitty. The 2022 draft is lining up to be shitty. The 2021 draft is supposed to be really good. That's why I'm happy that we kept that pick. So, but hopefully we'll be good next year. Honestly, I don't really care. But I think the West sucks. You better be happy that you are an Eastern Conference fan because you got to think, whose place are we taking? Oklahoma City's probably going to fall out of the playoffs. So that's one. But then there's Memphis, there's New Orleans, there's us, there's potentially Sacramento. like maybe the Spurs fall out, or the Spurs fell out already, so they're going to be in that mix.
New Orleans
It
just
was-
New Orleans just traded away Drew Holiday to the Bucks for Eric Bledsoe, George Hill, and draft compensation.
Wow, that was Giannis sitting in a room, and they said, "Who do you want to get rid of?" He said, "F Bledsoe, get him out of here." And they said, "Well, we got to try to find somebody." And then they brought him back. They said, "What do you feel about Drew?" He was like, "I'm down. Let's go." That's what happened. That's exactly what happened. Yeah, that's pretty good, man. I mean, Drew has the same amount of credentials as Bledsoe. Bledsoe has been proven to choke, and Drew Holiday hasn't had the chance to choke yet. So,
and the Blazers just acquired Robert Covington for Trevor Ariza and the 16th pick in the 2021 draft. So the Blazers are trying to get back on cue.
Wait, so the Blazers got
Robert
Trevor
Covington.
Ariza?
Oh, no, they got Robert Covington from the Rockets and sent Trevor Ariza back to Houston.
Ugh. Why is Trevor Ariza even getting action? Wow.
Right.
So anyways, Oklahoma City's looking good. What do you think about Schroeder to the Lakers, though? How do you like that fit? I'm not a huge fan. I was actually telling Eddie, I don't think that's as good as Rondo and Bradley, who they're probably going to lose both of those guys because they're not going to pay Rondo, and Bradley is just whatever. So swapping those two guys out for a score first point guard, really, and Schroeder, what do you think?
I think it fits for them. He's not going to have the ball in his hands that much anyways if they continue to play the way they did in the bubble with LeBron handling it most of the time anyways down the court. And then Rondo was on a hell of a run that he will never go on again. So we don't have to worry about that. And I feel like they are going to need somebody whenever LeBron or AD doesn't have the ball to get in because they don't have Danny Green anymore.
Right.
They don't have those buckets. So they need more buckets. And I think it's going to end up helping them. Yeah, it wouldn't have helped them in this past season. But moving on to we don't even know. Now, I think we know 4 people now that's going to be on the Lakers team. 5 if you count Caruso because he's just silently chilling, waiting on next season.
Yeah, so, he's ready to play.
Yeah, it's not like 2 years ago when it was just LeBron on the team and whenever they shipped off Mo Wagner.
Right.
But it's pretty much like that. They have 5 or 6 people on it. So I think it's going to help them and being able to go into because if Frank Vogel had George Hill, who at that point in time was able to get buckets in Indiana. So I think it'll help. I think LeBron's going to like it because LeBron's going to have the ball most of the time leading up the court. And he can pop it inside to AD or he can give it to Schroeder and let him do what he does.
So you don't think that Schroeder's going to have to be like a true point guard in that sense? Because even last year, he was the backup to Chris Paul and 6th man of the year. Hey, he's awesome at that. He comes in, he lights up the scoreboard. But when he was in Atlanta actually playing point guard, he doesn't do anything else except for just go to the basket and try to score. He doesn't even shoot well. He just goes to the basket and tries to score. But yeah, if LeBron is the point guard and Schroeder's just chilling and waiting for his chance to touch the ball and Lou Williams that thing, then maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I think is going to happen. If not, then they might need to hire me on the coaching staff.
Well, Vogel knows what he's doing. I like Vogel. I don't like that he's leading LeBron to championships, but I think he's a good coach. So let's talk about a couple of these other trades now. So did we just get one?
No. So apparently what my notification didn't tell me, the Bucks are getting Drew Holiday.
Okay.
God, David Griffin is the fucking man, bro. They get Eric Bledsoe, George Hill, and fucking 3 first-round picks.
3?
Yeah.
For Drew Holiday?
That's what Woj is reporting. Yo.
Jeez. What? That is Giannis telling you don't want me to go to Milwaukee or Miami. You get me Drew Holiday. And their GM was like, to coach? Like, are we firing Coach Bud? What are we doing here? That's going to be next. He's going to be like, and then get rid of Coach Bud. Wow. So let's talk about that then. Let's just talk about the fit. Giannis and Drew together. Do you think that that's kind of what he was saying? Basically, he's saying, I'm going to go to Miami if you don't get a Drew Holiday type. You think that's what kind of spurred this?
Absolutely. But if not, I also feel like Milwaukee could be trying to line up to get another star in there if he does go to the Heat. Hey, listen, we have a great point guard. We have
Brooke Lopez. Oh, your
no.
boy Middleton.
We have Chris Middleton. Like we can build off of you losing Giannis. We just need you. So either way, I think they're going for, hey, if you do take your ass down to Miami, we're still set up to get another star, and we'll be able to just fit him right in, and we'll see you in the playoffs, bud. Get it, bud?
Hopefully, Drew will take the ball out of Giannis's hand though, because you've
Yeah.
seen in the playoffs. Listen, Giannis is amazing, but when he has the ball 80% of the time, when Westbrook has the ball 80% of the time, when Harden has the ball 80% of the time, it doesn't matter who it is. It goes poorly in the playoffs as you just continue to get going. So Drew can definitely do that because Chris Middleton is not a great number two, but neither is Eric Bledsoe. So they had to get rid of one of those two guys. All right. I like Drew with Giannis and Brooke. If he stays, he might sign somewhere else. You never know. And with Middleton. So, and they still have Connaughton and those guys that are now, it looks like, going to be getting more playing time. So that's huge. I like that fit. As far as the Pelicans are concerned, whatever, man. They have a freaking AAU team, dude. It's just a bunch of kids. Like Bledsoe's not a great teammate. Lonzo is too good of a teammate to actually know when he needs to take a real shot. Zion, who knows, might eat himself out of the NBA. And then Ingram is just the boy, the guy that you give it to with 4 seconds left and just let him do his thing. But none of them actually work together.
Dude, if they would have centered that shit around Ingram, it could be lethal. Lonzo and Ingram have proven that they have a great connection with each other. Lonzo's unfortunately is showing that him and Zion have that same wavelength going on with the ESP, and it's just it's crazy they got Zion, dude.
Well, hopefully Zion can play. Hopefully Zion can come out and do what Zion does and be in shape. And
if Lonzo would learn to take a shot, that team would definitely be
that would help a lot.
5th and 3.
But see, now Bledsoe can't shoot threes either, so it's like this is gonna be rough. Yeah. It could be rough. But that's why they got 3 picks apparently out of the deal. Because
JJ still on the team, or is he fucking out?
He's probably out. He's probably pissed. That was like the first year he ever missed the playoffs and all that.
That is the first year he ever missed the playoffs. And he went up and whenever they were doing their pro day and all that shit, doing the pictures and stuff, I saw a clip. He went up to Ingram, Drew, and Zion when they were taking their pictures. And he was like, "Hey, don't fuck up my streak this year."
Well, the NBA tried their best to get them in there, and Alvin Gentry, it was Alvin Gentry, right? He wouldn't play Zion, so even when the bubble came, he was like, "Nah, we're not playing Zion." So forget the NBA's chance to try to get them into the playoffs.
And didn't Alvin get?
Yeah, that's probably why, because he wouldn't. Look at that! Look at that! He had something to say on the matter, I guess. That was creepy. That was like some Friday the 13th stuff. Anyways, last NBA thing, because we want to move to football and what's actually going on in real sports. But the rumor has it that James Harden is trying his damnedest to get to the Nets. Today, or Monday, he declined his $50 million extension over like 3 years or something like that. And
$50 million per year.
Yeah, for 3 years. So that's crazy. That's real. That's saying, hey, listen, this is what I want. Make it happen. And it seems like they're obliging. It seems like they want to try to make this trade happen. The last thing that I saw is ridiculous. If I was Brooklyn, I would hang up the phone right now. But it was Jared Allen, Karis LeVert, Spencer Dinwiddie, maybe, Luwawu Cabarrot, and a fourth guy. And then first round picks along with that. I'd tell them to go somewhere with that because they have leverage right now because Harden is clearly saying, like, I want out. I wouldn't make that kind of trade. Obviously, you have to trade some good people, but
when you're looking at that squad and the Nets, you don't need James Harden to be able to get to the finals. And
no, you don't. Yeah.
Who knows? Like that, if you were able to allow 3 basketballs on the court at one time, that team would be the best team ever. But unfortunately, there's only one, and they do not need that. They have so many weapons on that team right now, from 1 to 8, that they don't need James to come in there and fuck it up. They showed even without Kyrie, that they were able to go and get it done, and they meant
Right.
business, and they have a great camaraderie. KD's kind of a silent sniper, so you don't really have to worry about him coming and fucking up the locker room.
Yeah, he's not going to be a ball hog asking for everything.
Unless Drake comes around, and that's whenever his blood gets boiling. It seems like that's the only time you've ever seen anything out of KD is El Drake is around.
Yeah.
So they don't need James Harden. I mean, if you're even before y'all got CP3, I could see you guys giving up the whole damn stock except for Devin Booker to get him. But
Well, I'm glad you
a
did.
team like the Nets, who already has 2 of the top 10 superstars, I'll just say that because Uncle Drew's been hurt as shit, and KD is coming off a torn Achilles.
Right.
We'll see if he's able to turn the whatever I'm trying to say. People don't come back from Achilles.
Right.
And damn sure he'll still be able to shoot over people, and he could get 40 a game just shooting threes. He doesn't have to do whatever he used to do. So
Right.
he'll still be absolutely amazing. But if KD's able to be KD and Kyrie's Uncle Drew and Dinwiddie does what he does, LeVert does what he does, and Jared Allen just sits there with his little bandana thing and
see, to give up that, I see giving up Jared Allen and Dinwiddie, I guess, is who they're deciding to give up. But then to give up your role players too is a little much. I don't know why they would have to, with James Harden literally telling them he wants out. But the matchup itself, Kyrie's not as selfish as a lot of people try to make him out to be, at least on the court. Off the court, he seems pretty crazy. But on the court, he's actually not that selfish. KD is not really that selfish either. He just happens to be that guy that when you need something, he's going to do it for you. He's a leader. He doesn't seem to be a selfish leader. And then Harden, who is selfish, who is ridiculously selfish as part of the offense that their new assistant / brain trust coach, Mike D'Antoni, is obviously a proponent of. He also leads the league or not leads, but is top 5 in assists every single year. So he understands how to pass. If he can buy into passing and get some coaching from Steve Nash, and Mike D'Antoni can kind of shift into the background or come back the way that he was when he was coaching Nash, then maybe. Does Harden, can he let his ego go to the side to be a shooting guard instead of a point guard? I don't know, because that's where it's going to be a problem.
Does that say something about D'Antoni that he wants out and his preferred destination is Brooklyn? Because if he wasn't about it, if there was any kind of turmoil going on between him and coach, sorry about your luck, but I'm not going there. He's on your staff. Good.
Absolutely. And it says more that he didn't ask for Philly at all, with Daryl Morey and Philly. So to say I'd rather go with coach than I'll want to go with the guy that literally said we're bringing in people to make you shoot 50 times a game. So clearly he wants the best basketball fit, because if he wanted his stats, he'd go to Philly and he'd be like, Morey, give me more shots again. So that's good. I think he can do the ego thing and drop it back down. But when push comes to shove, he's used to bringing this ball up the floor. And of course, Kyrie is used to bringing the ball up the floor. And KD, remember back in 2017, he was the guy that would bring the ball up the floor in the clutch times. They let Steph and Clay kind of push off to the sides and get open, and KD would walk it up, much like LeBron does when it's close in a big game. So
yeah, and I've been hearing a lot of chat. Well, he used to be a 6-man. He can go right back to that role. Not when you've literally been in the MVP talk every fucking year since you got traded to be the guy.
Yeah,
like there's no way that's going to happen. It's been he was 22 when he got traded, 23 when he got traded. He's like 45 now. He's like 30 now. So no, that's not going to happen. It's been 8 years. He's been the guy, and it would mean a lot for me to see in his mindset, knowing that when he goes to Brooklyn, he's not going to be the guy. He's not taking 50 shots, because if he does, they're not going to score 130 a game, which they should fucking be doing with him, Kyrie, and KD in a lineup.
What he should do is try to get 25 points off of 15 shots maybe.
Yeah.
And then 12 assists. And KD is going to shoot 25, 30 times. Kyrie's only going to shoot 12 to 15 times probably as well. And that would be huge. And don't be surprised. Listen, their talent is going to get them into the playoffs as one of the top 3 seeds in the East, and they will be in every game. And don't be surprised if they make it to the finals if that's their squad. But also don't be surprised if they're making it through the season, one guy gets injured and it looks like the team plays even better, because I can see that happening as well. That doesn't mean that they're better off without whoever, but that's a type of team that if one of those pieces leaves, I think the other 2 guys will know how to pick up their shots and play better. So it's kind of cool to see the matchups that would happen. But yeah, they could definitely make the finals with that team, or without Harden, just like you were saying. So
for sure.
It's not that it's a bad trade, but it's a weird fit for me. But they should be able to roll through the East and then probably get just destroyed by the Lakers again. So
how do you think Russell Westbrook feels right now? And he's just like, really, bro?
He's gonna go to Charlotte and get paid, or still get paid. I guess he's already getting paid. But that's what I'm hearing, is he's gonna go to Charlotte. I mean, if Harden leaves, then Westbrook can be his triple-double boy in Houston, But if he goes to Charlotte, he's gonna be the triple-double king in Charlotte. It doesn't really matter where he goes.
And then that takes me back to scary Terry Rozier. Like, poor guy. He's never going to be able to be the guy. He had a good little fucking run in Boston, and then that was his peak.
He needs a squad around him, dude. Like, and that's no knock on him. He's a good player, but he's not a superstar. He can't be that guy. So
scary Terry.
All right, well, let's take a break and let's talk about our sponsor, Manscaped. They are here to just help us continue to take care of our balls, take care of our downstairs, and keep us smelling fresh, looking fresh, everything fresh. They're here to help us with all your grooming needs.
Absolutely. One of the things that keep me freshest the mostest, you good over there?
I think I scuffed my glasses.
Is the crop preserver, but lately I've been forgetting the shit. And then my little lunch pill that I take to work with me. Yeah, I had a couple of the wipes.
Oh yeah.
In there, so I'd run to the bathroom.
Crop mops. Is that what they're
crop
called?
mops? Yeah, dude. I don't know that they would probably be as an effective thing to use right off rip in the daytime.
Right.
But halfway through my shift, I was like, "Fuck!" Started getting a little humid down there. Throw a little mops on them. What did you say?
Yeah,
that bitch.
Gotta get them down in there.
And went back to work and didn't have any problems. Went the last 5 hours and I was Gucci, man. When you really want to be fresh in between the thighs, if you have thick thighs like me, Manscaped is definitely the way to go with the crop preserver and the crop mops.
For sure, man. California's getting shut back down. We're backing back up. We put back in our travel ban and all that other stuff. So
damn, really?
Yeah, California's going backwards. But that doesn't mean that we can't go outside. We're still allowed to go outside. We're still allowed to do things. And so when I do that, of course, I do the crop preserver, but I talk about that spritzer, the reviver. That's my jam, because I put on the preserver right after I shower, and I could be inside. I work right back there. So I'm just sitting on a chair for 8 hours doing my thing. I don't want to have to shower again. So when I do go out, whether it be to just ride my bike, I like to smell good no matter what I'm doing. I don't really care. It's kind of gross for me, but I'll just spritz down there. And just like your mops thing, comment, they're not what you need to use. You need to use all the products. I'm telling you, like, we're not trying to sell you the products. We are, but the amount of products we sell doesn't matter. We just need one buy. So, but you need to use all the products. But they have that preserver to get you a great foundation, but then all these touch-up things really do their job, really work well. And I truly haven't used anything close to them. So
yeah, the only thing I can't get used to that tingle on the spritzer, man.
Love it. I love the tingle, bro. Hey, some people have different fetishes, I love the tingle. I love the tingle. It's so good. That pH balance getting all up into your grill there.
Absolutely. It's No Shave November right now, so I'm not really going to talk about the lawnmower and all that good stuff.
Yeah, but when half beard December, I don't know if that works on the private areas, but when that happens, I have actually already shaved in November. I shaved like the 5th.
I haven't even gotten a haircut yet, dude.
I haven't gotten a haircut. I really need to get a haircut because I got to go to the office tomorrow.
Yeah, this is me not shaved. I'm still a child.
You don't grow anything on the front of here.
Dude, and then nothing right here.
That's crazy. You got like that natural redneck hair.
That yeah, that just patch.
Yeah, the NASCAR beard. But yeah, so head over to manscaped.com. Use our code no scrubs, all one word, at checkout, and you get 20% off and free shipping. If you order the perfect package with our code, they still give you the boxer briefs, or whatever they're called. I guess they're still called boxer briefs, and the leather pouch to give you with it. It's a great deal. You get the free shipping, you get 20% off, you get free gifts, you get all the products that we've been talking about, and you really should use all of them. I promise you. But head over there, use the code no scrubs, all one word, at checkout at manscaped.com, 20% off and free shipping. Your body, your partner, and your balls will thank you. All right, Seal. It was almost a week without the SEC. There were only, I think, 2 SEC games because COVID knocked out all the rest of them. But our team got to play, and they didn't just play. They put on a show, and they were really the only game going at the time that really mattered because of all these crazy COVID things. A lot of the better games were later. They put on a show, man. And it started out not the greatest, as it always does, but Kyle Trask just continues to light it up. He's got to be Heisman. And I was talking to my brother. Trevor Lawrence has missed 2 games now. Yep. He should not be invited. He will be invited because he's Trevor Lawrence, but he shouldn't be. Trask, in my opinion, has moved up. Justin Fields has only played a couple games, but he's right there. And Mac Jones, that's my third guy right now. If I had to pick, obviously there's still like 4 more games to go, but that's my view.
The thing with Justin Fields right now, Ohio State's not going to be able to get more than 5-6 games maybe in now. And as of right now, Kyle Trask has more passing yards in the first half than Justin Fields does in the 3 games that he played.
Right.
And we're 5 games in. No, 6 games in. We have 4 left. So, no, yeah, we're 5-1 now. So that equivalates to 3 games. And he has, and it's just, and then you go over to Trevor Lawrence. Yeah, he's missed 2 games and all that stuff. But hey, to win the Heisman, it involves being the best player. The best thing about a quarterback is availability. You have to be able to be on the field in every play of every game. If you can't do that, you're not the best player in America that year. Sorry about your luck. Sorry you got the COVID, bro, but you weren't available for those 2 games, so you're scratched. Yes,
and you guys lost one of them, which I know we lost games too, but it's like the team value matters. And if we can make the play, which Clemson, I guess, will make the playoffs too, so I guess it won't really matter that much. But that's why we're not talking about BYU's quarterback right now, because they are 10-0. This dude is putting up numbers left and right. It's Smith, I think, is his last name, something like that. But he's doing work. He's that guy that like is going to get drafted in the 15 to 18 range and then somehow be a really good quarterback. But that's why we're not talking about him, because rankings matter. Now, every team is going to have a Heisman moment left on their resume. Justin Fields, all he has in front of him is potential Heisman moments. He plays Indiana this week, which Indiana is undefeated, looking good. He's going to get to play Michigan and just thrash them because Michigan is bad. And then he's going to get probably Wisconsin in the championship game. So he'll get his chance at Heisman moments. Mac Jones and Kyle Trask are looking to meet head on. So one of them will get a Heisman moment. Trevor Lawrence will get to play against Notre Dame again in the foreseeable future. He'll get his chance to say, listen, I am the Heisman. That's why we lost the first time and we won this time. So everybody still has that moment ahead of them. But Kyle Trask has to be looking good in the voters' eyes, at least, after what he did on a night where none of those other guys played, by the way. Fields, Lawrence, it was just Mac Jones, nobody. It was just Kyle Trask, and Dylan Gabriel. But got to win, like we said.
Yeah, and our one loss to Texas A&M, they're really helping us out with that. I mean, our defense could still do a lot better and start out the game, being mentally fucking there.
Right.
But, yeah, man, that they're really helping us out. They were, I don't know if they're ahead of us this week, but they jumped us last week, even though we beat Georgia.
Right.
And so that's really helping us out. And Kyle Trask still fucking shredded them.
Right.
So
he has shredded every single team. He sets new records, obviously, every week because he has the record. So every week that he throws for 4 touchdowns, he continues to extend that record. And he didn't even play the fourth quarter, but he had 6 touchdowns. It's nuts, man. And he didn't even have Kyle Pitts, who the first few weeks of the season was a Heisman talk, at least of his own, at tight end, which is crazy. So he didn't even have him.
And he could still win. What is it, Player of the Year or whatever? The
Maxwell.
Yeah, he could still win that, missing 2 games.
Right.
Which is insane.
Yeah, but hey, the Gators are looking good, man. We need to avoid that letdown. We always have that letdown somewhere. So we don't get to play FSU at all this year, right? Because there's no interconference stuff.
This reminds me of 2008. After our national championship, Tebow wins the Heisman, but we lose the Bama in the SEC championship.
Yeah, and because of stupid Texas A&M, we lost any chance to lose. We lost our buffer that we had. If we would have gone undefeated, we could have lost to Alabama and still made it in if we lose a close game. If they lose to us in a close game, they'll probably still make it in. Texas A&M, sorry guys, you're kind of on the outside looking in regardless. They have to kind of hope that we win so that they can just cause that triangle and say, listen, we might have been worse than Bama, but we beat the SEC champs. So they'll have that argument. But right now, I mean, do you see any other team really pushing for the playoff besides just the regular same 4 guys, 5, 6 guys? The only thing
that could happen, Indiana bumping out Ohio State, and somehow somebody else can beat Clemson. I mean, it doesn't look like it's
and Oregon is going to lose. The Pac-12 looks bad, man.
Now, let's say
even if they win, it doesn't matter.
Let's say Indiana beats Ohio State. They go out and win out 8-0, and Ohio State only goes 6-0, or
6-1.
Scratch that. Yeah, 5-1, 6-1. Now Ohio State's out. Indiana's out. Now we have Notre Dame playing Clemson in the ACC championship game, who they already beat. Let's say Clemson beats them.
Right. They should. They will.
Now we have fucking 6 teams. We have Florida. We have Clemson. We have Notre Dame. We have Indiana. We have Texas A&M. We have Alabama. Like, it's going to be fucking mayhem. And I'm excited about it. And I will be pissed as fuck if we end up getting left out because our stupid ass defensive coordinator couldn't wake up the defense in week 1.
One thing we know is that the Big 12 is out. They've shot themselves in the foot like they always do by not just selecting one team and letting them beat up on everybody.
Yep.
The Pac-12 is going to be out because I watched that Oregon game last week and they're really not that good. And they all the hopes are on them because yes, USC won. I don't know if you watched or saw the USC against Arizona game. But USC is now still undefeated, and both games they've needed a touchdown in the last 90 seconds to win this game against 2 scrub teams. So they're going to lose. But if they continue winning, stay ranked, then Oregon beats them. Oregon has an outside shot in the scenario you put up with Ohio State losing, things like that, to maybe jump across. But they're going to lose. So the Pac-12 is probably out. The Big 12 is already out. Sorry, group of 5 guys, you are all out. There's just too many good teams. When there's 3 SEC teams ahead of Cincinnati, like, what can you do? And I feel bad for Cincinnati, but they needed UCF to also be undefeated because then it would have been a 6-7 matchup when we faced next weekend. And now it's a unranked against 7 or whatever they are. So the group of 5 is out. It's really the 3 SEC. Really, I don't even think it's Texas A&M, honestly. It's us 2. It's Notre Dame, it's Clemson, it's Ohio State if they're there, and that's pretty much it. 4 of those 5 are probably going to make it in.
Yeah, I really don't think Texas A&M is in either, but the rankings that came out last week apparently fucking do. So,
well, I mean, if Alabama beats us badly, mind you, then Texas A&M can say, "Listen, we played a close game against a team that just thrashed whatever rank we are at the time." And then if like Ohio State has one dumb loss in there, if Clemson revenges their loss, then maybe Texas A&M can say, "Hey, we still play in the SEC and we only lost a close game to a team that won the SEC championship by 30 points, for example." So maybe they could still be in there. I guess I need to add them in. So 4 of those 6 guys are probably going to be in. But hey, the Gators looked great. UCF looked great, and I do want to touch on them a little bit.
All right, you
We
do
look
that.
okay.
Okay.
We look awesome, and we have a big game against Cincinnati this weekend. So you guys got to show up. The Bounce House allows people. We have not sold out our 11,000 tickets yet, which is sad, people. If you guys want to be talked about like a Power 5 conference team, you have to sell out 11,000 tickets. I understand COVID. I get it. It's a thing. I wouldn't be going to the games probably. I get that. But there are so many people at this school. You have to do that. I'm just telling them like,
No, I heard you. I heard you.
yeah. Oh, okay. Why do you have headphones in?
I have it. I turned them on full max so I could hear you, bub.
Weird.
It was coming out of my headphones.
Oh, okay.
Headphones are.
But yeah, so you have to sell out. It's 11,000 tickets, and now this is Cincinnati, so you have to sell out. I don't care what you think about COVID. Seal needs to drive up there and watch it. I don't know, but
If I could, I would. But shit, and that's only 20% of the fucking students.
And well, the shitty thing is Orlando City has a playoff game the exact same night, which kind of sucks. But
what you gonna do, Martin?
Martin's going to the game, going to UCF. He's going to UCF.
My man.
So yeah, so you guys have to cheer your head off. Yes, we want the AAC to be represented, blah, 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 blah. But we want to beat Cincinnati. We want to win every game that's on our schedule. And if it shakes out the other way, then so be it. But we need to win, and we're looking a lot better. Dylan Gabriel is still leading the league in yards, even with what Kyle Trask did. Marlon Williams is doing his thing. He still hasn't gotten invited to any Senior Bowl yet, but he will. And when he goes to the Combine, he's going to do his thing. Gabe Davis looking really good for Buffalo is going to help Marlon out as well, because he'll be able to be like, look, UCF wide receiver, you baby. And so he's our best chance at a high draft pick, I think. But yeah, they're starting to look good. The Fire Heupel talk has kind of died down a little bit, which is, well, like I said, it was the defense that was the problem. Randy Shannon would have been gone first. So I'm happy. Our offense has been good the whole time, and that's where Heupel makes his money. It's just that defense has to be made as well. But we looked good. So yeah, just beat Cincinnati. I want to come back here and have Eddie and talk happy things, happy thoughts.
Drink some whiskey.
Celebration time.
This is definitely for me. I mean, besides the Gators actually I give us hope for the future. But being a Knights fan and being a Jags fan, this weekend is Super Bowl weekend for me. Being Cincinnati, the opponent of UCF, and then the fuck ass Pittsburgh Steelers, no offense, Eddie, being the Jaguars opponents. It's a big weekend for me. I'm hoping for a couple of upsets. Give these teams their first loss, man. I'm very excited for it. I am not going to work on Saturday, even though my boss put me up for Saturday, even though I already told him I wasn't going to be there. I don't have to. West Virginia doesn't play, so I don't have to be there.
Right.
He put me down for 12 o'clock. Not going. I'm not going in on Saturday. I'll be there at 10 o'clock at night, maybe, if we lose to work. But if we win, I'm going to be shit-faced. And then I'm going to wake up on Sunday. I'm going to work at 1 o'clock to work the Steelers game because I work at a Steelers bar. But I should have brought it over here. I have a little confetti gun that has 6 rounds in it. So I'm ready to pop them off at any time. Hopefully we give them their first loss. I'm very excited for this weekend when it comes to football. And then I will literally be hanging my hat on Gators for the rest of the way.
I'm excited about football this weekend as well. I was a little bitter because we lost to New Orleans, and you guys know that last week. And I was upset because now we're not going to win the division. Like, we're pretty much just not. And we can talk about Drew Brees in a second. He's injured. And the thing I said 3 weeks, I don't buy it. He won't be back before the playoffs at the best. But I was mad, but then Eddie texted me, and Eddie said, listen, you should be happy that you guys lost to the Saints and aren't going to win the division. And I said, well, why? Why would I be happy about that? And he goes, because now you get to play whoever the NFC East champion is in the playoffs.
Oh,
and
snap.
That's huge, because if we finish 5th, which the NFC West might have something to say about that, but if we finish 5th, we would get to travel to probably Philly or Dallas or New York or Washington. I guess they're still all in it. It's crazy. But That would be amazing for us. If you're not going to win the 1 seed to where you're going to be the bye week, which they might not even do, they still might add an 8th team into the playoffs. Then in the NFC, the 5th seed is the best you can be because you get to go to Philly probably. And so I'm back on board. Not that I was off board. I still have our Super Bowl winning ticket in my drawer, but we're still 7-3. We look really good. Green Bay, who's ahead of us, we have the tiebreaker against, so we should be able to be fine against all those teams. The NFC West has 3-6-3 teams, and I say this with a grain of salt because we're about to play the Rams on Monday Night Football, but I'm not really worried about any of the NFC West teams right now. None of them look like they are able to beat us. Honestly, I think we could take all of them, and hopefully Jalen Ramsey doesn't watch this because he takes shit personally. But I'm not really.
He is watching it. Fuck you, Jalen Ramsey.
I'm not worried about the NFC West at all. So I am worried about Tom Brady on Monday Night Football because he showed that he can't do that anymore. But
what's going on with your first halves, man? You guys are sluggish as shit. I walked in, saw that you guys were.
Well, Ronald Jones ripped off a 98-yard touchdown run. That was fun.
And then I look in the fourth quarter and you're up by like 80.
They need that halftime Tom Brady tongue lashing, I guess. I don't know what it is, but yeah. So shout out to both of our teams. We both had franchise records happen. Ronald Jones ran a 98-yard rush to the house, which is the longest in Tampa Bay Bucks history. And then Keelan Cole had the longest kick return, right? Or punt return, whatever it was.
Punt return.
Touchdown for.
And he put that punter on fucking ice skates.
Yeah, he did. He did. So we both had amazing franchise record things happen. So that's pretty cool. I'm very happy with Ronald Jones. I'm glad we got Leonard Fournette, but Ronald Jones is getting better and better and better every week, just like he was last year. So,
and I'm very happy you guys got Leonard Fournette because James Robinson is becoming better and better every week. He still hasn't given up a fumble. He has like the 5th most rushing yards in the league, the like 3rd most all-purpose yards in the league right now, and he's projected to beat out all of Leonard Fournette's career highs in Duval and his rookie campaign.
And Jake the Snake Luton is looking.
Bro, Jake's like looking good.
Pretty solid draft, a low draft pick.
Made a couple mistakes, a couple errant throws, but I definitely 1,000% hold the refs accountable for that game. The roughing the passer on Aaron Rodgers from Josh Allen for him hitting him low. He literally jumped for him, whiffed, looked up, saw his ankles, and grabbed his fucking ankles and brought him down with his fucking ankles.
Right.
There's literally nothing else he could do in that situation to get so he's not supposed to do it because he can't hit the quarterback low. Even
You're
though
not supposed to go low anymore. Yeah.
He was already on the ground and grabbed his fucking, like, that's absolutely asinine. That's too much princessness for the quarterbacks in my eyes.
Yeah, me too.
That was stupid. And then there was a holding call on a fucking touchdown that we ended up getting a 3 out of. So we lost by 4.
Right.
That would have been a tied ball game. We would have went to overtime. Took 7 points off the board for a holding call that was not at all a holding call. Right whenever he swung around, he let go and dude fell. Like, he did not call it. It was, even the announcers were saying it was stupid. So second week in a row, I hold our losses to the refs, but we're 1-8 now. 1-8 now. So don't really give a fuck, honestly. I'm just ready for next week to get to the Steelers. But I'm happy you guys did get Leonard Fournette because our nucleus is good. We just have to figure something out, man. Like, we have played DJ Shark's the shit. Our backup to the backup quarterback at the start of the season is ending up on SportsCenter for top 10 plays. We're good, man. But we just have to figure it out, have to put it together.
Well, we're getting close to the end here, but I do want to talk about a couple of players in particular. And first is Drew Brees. Shout out to Drew. It looks like the career touchdown record might get to be Tom Brady's for a little while now because Brees is out. Again, I saw the best projection of 3 weeks, but he's not coming back, especially if Jameis looks pretty good, at least until the playoffs, in my view. So that's like 6 weeks. 7 weeks, whatever it is. So Tom Brady's going to be able to just push that out of the water. And now Drew really has to think about, am I coming back? He's on that Big Ben mode where it's every single off season he decides if he's going to keep coming back. Well, 3 broken ribs on his left side, 2 broken ribs, and a collapsed lung on the right side, partially collapsed. I shouldn't say collapsed lung. He still uses it, but it's partially collapsed. That's a big hit to, hey, do I want to come back and do this anymore?
Oh, yeah, and it's not like he's just in the league becoming a franchise quarterback. Right. He's on the tail end of things. He has children, and he has a shit ton of money to be able to spend time with his kids. Now, does he want to come back and spend time with those kids crippled as shit and not able to walk more than a mile before his partially collapsed lung gives out and he has to sit down and get the oxygen take? Right. Or does he just want to say, hey, Jameis, you got this, bro.
Your team, bro.
This is your team. This is your postseason. You ride us out. Let me get me that trophy before I leave.
If he's healthy, he will play this year.
Oh, he'll. For sure.
But I don't know if he'll come back. Yeah, I don't know if he'll come back. He won't play until he is healthy, though. Apparently, he cracked his left ribs against us, but he decided to play. And I don't know if you saw the hit that took him out, but they called a penalty. It was a pretty rough hit. But it was a rough hit. It's football. It's supposed to be rough.
It was rough, but when you slow it down
into the guy, though,
he's still trying to go to the side a little bit.
Well, he crushed him. But anyways, that's a story for a different day. But he won't come back until he is 100% confident that, hey, nothing bad's gonna happen. I'm gonna be able to do my thing. So, but shout out to him. Obviously, I don't like the Saints. Obviously, they're in my division, but I have argued many times that if I were gonna pick, and this is in their primes, I guess, but between Brady, Manning, and Breeze, I was always on the Breeze train. There wasn't very many people on that train. I know that Eddie was on the Brady train. And I do think Brady is the GOAT, I think, when you put resume and all that other stuff together. But if I had to pick one player for a season or for a game or whatever, I was always on the Drew Brees train over Brady and Manning. So
see, that's crazy. Everybody underlooks Aaron Rodgers.
He's not even in the I said those 3 people.
Bro, Aaron Rodgers is insane. So, real quick, among the people who've thrown 400 touchdown passes, like the lowest interceptions is like 136 or some shit like that.
Right.
Aaron Rodgers, who I think he just did or he's about to eclipse it, he's thrown like 82.
Okay.
Interceptions.
Okay.
He's fucking legit, bro.
Well, go win some rings then.
I mean, there's 21 other people on the field.
Yeah, and 31 other teams trying to do the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's just crazy. He always gets overlooked. I mean, you don't hear shit about Aaron Rodgers, and they almost made it to the Super Bowl last year.
Well, the Saints have almost made it to the Super Bowl like 3 years in a row now. They're running out of chances there. I'm happy to say that the Saints aren't going to win. I don't think they're going to win, but I do want Breeze to be healthy at least and be retired confidently. And if Jameis comes out and does good, then the Saints might have won the offseason last year by being able to just plug in a new starting quarterback. So the next guy that I wanted to say, which will make you happy, we're gonna do a memorandum. You can say fuck you if you want, but in memorandum of the Houston Texans, because whatever they were doing to trade DeAndre Hopkins away didn't work out, and it worked out for Kyler Murray. That Hail Mary was amazing. Nuke is one of the top. I know that every week they pick a new receiver for who's the best receiver in the league, but DeAndre Hopkins is that boy for sure.
It's got to be a Nuke now since Michael Thomas wanted to be a fucking princess.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's got to be a Nuke. I mean, the only other receiver this year that's getting a lot of fucking buzz is DK. And
well, Devontae Adams says that he's the best. I mean, and Aaron Rodgers says he's.
Okay. I have to say I was watching a lot of Devontae on Sunday, and I think he had a touchdown for sure that got dismantled by a holding, right. And then something else happened on a play that he was wide ass open. He didn't get the ball for some reason, but yeah, Devontae is that dude for sure. But Nuke is just fucking. I don't want to say
it's hard to say anything.
He's literally like if LeBron James went to college, if LeBron James would have ever went to college, like you think of Zion, If LeBron would have went to fucking college for 1 year, he would have
Right.
been Zion on steroids. And that's literally what Nuke is with any fucking cornerback that you put him against. He had 3 dudes, 3 fucking guys. 2 guys had their hands on the fucking ball, and he was still able to grip it and bring it down. And I loved Kyler's tweet afterwards. He had a little picture of him about to yank it. He said, "Shit, hop down there somewhere."
Well, the comparison, it's physically it's not the same, but when you watch them play and what he's capable of doing, I see a lot of Megatron in him. He's about a foot shorter than Megatron. Calvin Johnson was a next level beast as far as he was the LeBron James as far as like being size and strength and everything. But the plays they run, the routes they run, the speed, the everything, I mean, unguardable is for sure. I mean, he was guarded by 3 people and he still comes down with it. Megatron had those Hail Marys many a times, and it just
that's what I'm really excited about DK. I mean, he's going to learn. He had arguably the best cornerback in the league on him,
right?
And he got shut down. But he's Megatron and Tyreek Hill in one. Like, that's literally what this cat is. And when he gets coached 2-3 years from now, he's still going to have another 8 years in this league, and he is already second year in the league, scary as shit. So once he's able to get his route tree opened up and learn those little ins and outs and stuff like that, the stutters and whatnots, he's going to be scary. Absolutely scary. He already has an amazing route tree. And usually somebody his size, you probably got 3 or 4 routes that you can run. He's impeccable with that shit.
Yeah. He just needs to watch Calvin Johnson because your boy played on the Lions, all right? He didn't win anything. A lot of people write him off. He was the best receiver I ever saw. Granted, I'm younger than a lot of football fans, but he was the greatest receiver that I ever saw. And if you think that's blasphemy, go watch some of his game films. I know Detroit doesn't come on TV. If they had Red Zone when Calvin Johnson was doing his thing, he would have been a lot more popular than he was. That's for sure.
The reason the fade route, a goal line fade, isn't what it is nowadays is because Calvin Johnson isn't in the league.
I know. Tom Brady tries to keep throwing that shit to Mike Evans, and it is not working.
Dude, it's absolutely insane. And then Gronk's losing his hands.
Hey, did you see Gronk just throw that dude down, though? And
I did, yeah.
Bully his way into the end zone? That was just a bad tackle, honestly, but it looked really good in the replay because he like shook him
Did you see that Texas Tech hit on Baylor? No. Holy fuck, bro. This is the show. Shout out to whoever the fuck that linebacker was from Texas Tech on Baylor. I'm pretty sure it was Texas Tech against Baylor. Bro, look up Texas Tech hit on Baylor on YouTube, and I promise you it's going to be the first fucking the first thing. Bro, it was absolutely insane. It jacked me up.
And it was legal? It was legal hit?
Yeah, it was legal.
Nice.
So what happened was it was the quarterback from Baylor. He was coming. It was like goal line stand, like at the end of the game. And I don't know if it was a tight end or receiver, but he came up and the linebacker kind of bumped into him. So the quarterback couldn't see him. He kind of bumped him and threw him out of the way. And it was just one-on-one. And, dude, one of those up and drives. Just
shout out to both of those teams for actually playing defense. That was the lowest scoring Big 12 game I've ever seen in my life. It didn't involve Iowa State, I guess. But, so shout out to those defenses. But, yeah, that's awesome. I'll YouTube that after the show's over. You got any more shout outs before we get out of here?
Nah. I love my baby girl. That's it.
Yeah, it's been like 3 weeks since you shouted her out. Whenever her birthday
was last week.
That was that last
week? Yeah, I just randomly did it last week, I think. Or the week before.
You did her birthday, I thought.
Dude, her birthday. Don't do that to me right now. Which one is 7? July.
You could say 7, I guess. That's a thing.
It's July.
Okay. So, yeah. So, I mean, I guess it's good that I don't remember when you're shouting out your girl because I couldn't care less. But, yeah, so shout out to everyone. I don't have a particular thing to shout out, but, hey, people still striving. People still pushing.
Yeah. No, I don't really have anything.
Shout out to Terrence Crawford. Still undefeated. Somebody bring him a competitor. Maybe he'll beat them up too. Shout out to Conor McGregor, just because.
Do you think people like that would ever? I mean, I know boxing is completely different than MMA, but could you ever see Terrence Crawford going over to the UFC?
MMA, he'd get destroyed. I mean, boxing is like the worst base you can have to try to get into the MMA.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
But I mean, if he could stay standing up, he'd kill some people. But
I mean, the first time he gets his leg kicked, he's gonna fucking be like, "What the fuck was that?"
The first time he got shot, somebody shoots on him.
Yeah,
not got shot, but first time somebody shoots on him, he wouldn't know what to do. I mean, he'd have to have a full.
Yeah, he's not old, so he could just
pretty old.
Take off a year and go
to just train in ground game.
Go and kind of fight a couple years.
Listen, it's got to be athletes, bro.
It's got to be getting boring for his ass.
Well, it's boring because Errol Spence Jr. is a freaking scrub and won't fight him. It's a Mayweather Pacquiao thing. That's exactly what it is with Crawford and Spence. They both have titles. They're both whatever. They're both this, and they're both ducking each other and blaming the other person for ducking them. And then they're going to fight when they're both too old. Terrence Crawford's going to win, just like Mayweather did with Pacquiao, and it's going to be game over. But Errol Spence Jr. has like 2 losses, but he's also one of the top pound-for-pound fighters. So they need to fight. But
oh, yeah, and the Gators wore these jerseys this weekend.
Hell yeah. So let's go, Chris Paul. Stay as healthy as you were last year. Teach these kids how to play defense because nobody on our team knows how to play defense. And you are going to be in for a surprise. You're going to be pretty pissed. But shout out to me for finally having the right sports teams. I think all my sports teams are on the up and up. So that's good. It makes me happy to talk on the pod. But
I got the Gators.
Shout out to Seal Shitty. He's going what I was going through when he was winning NBA championships and World Series and everything. We're like a decade off of each other. Last decade was more him. This decade's more me. Eddie has the last 50 years, and he's not even 50. So don't be like Eddie. Screw Eddie. But as always, I love you, Eddie.
Oh, yeah, screw Dolphins fans right now. Let's end it on that. Fuck Dolphins fans. They're all fucking on the hype train right now.
Tua is the man.
Bro, but they're like, oh, yeah, we're going to run Florida. Sit the fuck down, Dolphins fans. That's it.
Florida. All right, I'm on your side. Yeah.
Don't be like Dolphins fans.
Don't be like Dolphins fans. Be a stud, not a scrub.